Big goings on here at the Ochsner Sports Performance Center as day 19 of Saints training camp wraps up as the state of Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards makes an appearance. It is the New Orleans Saints training camp show right here on CST. This is John DeShazier. I am Todd Graffagnini. JD, Governor Bel Edwards makes an appearance, comes in. Hopefully, we will get a $450 million renovation to the Superdome. Talks are in progress. Let's hope it gets done.
Yeah, you said $450 million. I thought you were talking about your salary graph, but yeah, we hope that it'll get done. We believe it'll get done. Obviously, it's been a great relationship between the state and the Saints. The Saints are fabric in this community. They've been here for some time. Everyone around here seems grew up with the Saints. It's the team of Louisiana, and so this relationship hopefully will go forward and continue to be profitable for both sides.
Yeah, we're going to have to work on that bump up in salary, but let's hear from the governor himself as he addresses the meeting.
But I wanted to come and just make sure that the people of Louisiana know that the state has been working very hard with the Saints as an organization, with the Louisiana Stadium and Exposition District, in order to move forward with extensive and needed renovations to the Superdome so that that facility, that venue, will remain competitive for many, many years to come. And so with that in mind, we've been working with the organization, with LACD, and the first piece to the puzzle that needs to come into place, and it should without something unforeseen happening, is Thursday morning. We're going to have a meeting in Baton Rouge with Bond Commission, and we expect that they will approve the short-term financing of the renovations as it relates to the LACD. But there will be contributions from the Saints organization, from LACD, and from the state of Louisiana towards this $450 million renovation that we're planning. And this is going to create just a tremendous atmosphere for decades to come. For the fan experience, it will help us to make sure that we keep the Saints here for a long term. They're not just the best tenant for the Superdome, they're the best tenant for the state of Louisiana. And so we're working also on a long-term extension of the Saints, keeping them here another 15 years. And then with a framework in place for another 15 beyond that. So the goal is to have the Saints here for 30 more years, and we're excited about the opportunity to do that. We don't think there's a better place in the world for the Saints, and we're excited about what the Saints are doing for Louisiana, for New Orleans, also the Pelicans. There's an energy, there's an excitement around these organizations that quite frankly isn't just the best that we've ever seen here in New Orleans and Louisiana, it's among the best anywhere in the country. So I just wanted the people to know that the state of Louisiana, we're doing what we can, working with the Saints, with LACD, to make sure that this is something we can continue to enjoy and derive tremendous benefit from for a very long time to come.
Well, obviously, JD, we all grew up with the Superdome. It is an iconic building in the city, the state, and the world.
You know, a great thing, again, if this deal can get done, and we expect that it will, but you know, it's been a fabulous facility for a long time.
Let's hear from the governor on how the Dome has been an asset to the state of Louisiana.
And what a wonderful facility that has been for the state of Louisiana for a long time. You know, in the time period that we've had the Superdome, many other dome stadiums have been built and torn down, and we still have the Superdome. But the reason we've been able to make that happen is periodically we go in and we upgrade, we renovate, we make it more energy efficient, we make it where people with disabilities can experience game day and so forth. And so you just have to do this periodically. We think we're in a good place now to make that happen for the next renovation, and we'll be able to keep the Saints here for a long, long time to come.
When we return to the New Orleans Saints training camp show right here on CST, JD goes one-on-one with offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael.
Well, welcome back to the show. Pete Carmichael, had to do a little homework on you. I'd forgotten you were the quarterbacks coach at Louisiana Tech some time ago. So you're familiar with this Louisiana Heat and everything. But, you know, just talk about the start of your career, because a lot of people, I think, don't know you go that deep back to Louisiana.
Well, that's right. In fact, my oldest son was born when we were coaching at Louisiana Tech. So my first job started off at the University of New Hampshire, and then I was there for a year and caught a break. A gentleman named Gary Croton, a guy that I had known when I was at Boston College. He was coaching football there at the time when I was going to school. He got the coordinator job at Louisiana Tech, brought me down with him. I was fortunate to have an opportunity to go in as a GA, and then the next season he became the head coach and kind of progressed my way up as I was there.
Okay, now you get to the NFL and people don't know what a quality control coach is. they don't know what a quality control coach does. What does a quality control coach do?
I think that the biggest part of their job is making sure that they take a lot of responsibility and the work off the assistant coaches. And so you're doing a lot of the film breakdown, maybe getting the cards ready for practice. So it's a lot of preparation for the coaches. So when they start their role for the beginning of the week, they have the information in front of them.
And now we move on. Offensive coordinator for a record-breaking offense. What new can you guys present each year? Because I mean, obviously you have your base goals and your base principles, but what new can you guys present every year to keep it fresh, not just for the players, but for the opposition?
Well, I think as an offensive staff, one thing that we do such a great job, all the guys, is once the season ends, we're researching other teams because other teams have good ideas, and then kind of taking maybe some of those ideas and seeing what fits with our scheme and our personnel, and kind of incorporating that. And it's always, it's kind of exciting and fun to really try some new things and just see how it takes off, see if it fits. So, the let's say 90-95% of your offense is pretty standard, but there's going to be another 5 or 10% that we incorporate that we've seen teams do, and a lot of that ends up sticking.
When you're talking about this offense, there are a lot of talented pieces, and I know you guys don't like to compare year to year and past teams, but Teron Armstead and Ryan Ramczyk, two of the most talented tackles in the league. You've got Alvin Kamara, one of the best running backs in the league. You got Michael Thomas, one of the best receivers in the league. You've got Jared Cook, a Pro Bowl tight end. There are a lot of attractive parts on this offense. How fun does that make it for you?
Well, I think that as a whole, you look at our college scouting department, our pro scouting department, they do such a great job, not only bringing in great players, but great quality character guys. And I think that the culture that Sean has built here, Sean and Mickey, and I think it's just, I think it makes it an attractive place to be. And again, we're lucky to have those guys that you mentioned.
Training camp can get a little bit mundane. Does it get mundane for the coaches also, or do you guys enjoy the install process year after year? I
think, obviously there's an enjoyment to it. You kind of just get, used to the same schedule, and you lose track what day is today, and you just know it's an A schedule day. And you just kind of get into a rhythm, and you love being around these guys, and they're fun to coach, and it's the best part is being out on the field, and right now having an opportunity to work through some of the kinks.
Nobody knows this better than you. How good can this offense be? You got a Hall of Fame quarterback. We mentioned some of the other parts. This offense can get into some serious grooves, as we saw last season.
Yeah, I think that it's still early in the process for training camp, so we still got a long way to go, and we'll see where we go with it.
Speaking of your Hall of Fame quarterback, is there anything else that Drew Brees can do that would make you raise an eyebrow and say, you know what, I was not expecting that?
Well, listen, I think everything that he does in life, and when it comes time to compete, it's pretty amazing what he can do. Even just you watch the quarterback competitions, and it's competition, and he wants to win. So I think that his whole approach to everything is being the best at it. So I think that's, regardless, even if it's just being a father or a husband, he takes that all very seriously.
You mentioned the quarterback competitions. I think you downplayed yourself. You won a couple of those.
Well, not this year. It's kind of been quiet for the coaches so far this year. Although I think yesterday had a little bit of an asterisk next to it. So if you watched it, maybe you'd agree with me.
Does Drew cheat?
No, he doesn't cheat. No, he wins those fair and square. But we just like to use that as an excuse. Hey, we're letting you win this one.
That's offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael, and we'll be back.
Final segment of the show, Royal Saints Training Camp Show right here on CST. That's John DeShazier. I'm Todd Graffagnini. JD, an abbreviated practice today as the Saints still trying to beat the Heat. More time inside and less time outside.
Yeah, think about 20 minutes extra inside and maybe 20 to 30 minutes shorter outside. Protect the players from the heat and the humidity. It got pretty oppressive out here. I mean, it was really warm, so you want to make sure that you keep these guys as fresh as you possibly can. You want to make sure that they're not so fatigued that they get a little bit sloppy, maybe get injured. So I think a good call by the coaching staff.
Well, JD, we heard from head coach Sean Payton about these joint practices. It's been a thing now the last few years, and sometimes they can be more beneficial than the actual preseason game itself.
Yeah, they like to have these joint practices. Years ago, it's been against the Patriots. It's been against the Texans. Now, recently, it's been against the Chargers. Coach Payton and Anthony Lynn, the coach of the Chargers, have a personal relationship, so they know one another, and they know the type of work they want to get out of it. These can be extremely spirited workouts, and in a lot of cases, they can be just as good as the games.
Let's head to Coach Sean Payton, who talks about the trip out west against the Chargers.
Well, Anthony and I worked together for 3 years. I feel like our last 2 times we've been with them have been real productive. Both teams are really wanting to get better. They understand that. It's good climate change this time of the year when you have that opportunity. So, and then you're working against a playoff team, one of the better teams in our league.
From an evaluation standpoint, is joint practices even more beneficial than a preseason
Yeah,
game?
I think so. You might get more reps at something than you might not get in a game. You can essentially script out what you want to see and then who you want to see do it for your own team. And sometimes it's a little bit more difficult in the course of a game.
Well, that's going to wrap up the show right here on CST. Our next broadcast will be from Costa Mesa, California, as the Saints have joint practices against the Los Angeles Chargers, culminating in the preseason game at 3 o'clock on CBS on Sunday. For John DeShazier, this is Todd Graffagnini. We'll see you in California on Thursday.